Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome to the Dust Palace. I am massively into drums. Vintage drums, all kinds of drums. I'm also into analog outboard effects. Tape echo, saturation, tape, pedal board with chorus and modulation, filtering, spring and reverb for days. I've created an analog and digital system here that allows me to access all my drums and all of my effects at the same time. My analog signal path is pretty straightforward really. I have microphones going into a stage box, 16 outputs from a stage box into my external preamps. My external preamps analog then out into the Red 8 pre. My analog outboard works in a similar way. 16 analog outs from Red 8 pre into my effects. So how am I going to return the effects world back into the Red 8 pre when all my physical analog inputs are taken up? Dante, RedNet. So here I have best of both worlds. I have the RedNet 1, line level 8 in, 8 out, and I have 2 of the MPA-R, 8 preamps per box, output on a network cable going into a network router where all the RedNet devices meet, and then a single Cat5 out of that into the back of Red 8 pre, digital network. So suddenly all my analog world is coming in, analog is going out to my effects world, but the effects world outputs are then going to preamp inputs on the RedNet boxes and digital out onto the Dante network. 16 analog ins mic pre's, plus another 16, 32, plus another 8 on the RedNet 1, that's 40. That's 40 inputs and outputs of effects, whatever I want to do fun, just in this little room on my little system. How cool is that? I'm just going to show you one way in which I utilize this setup in this room for me. And that is effectively treating all my outboard gear, my effects returns, as like plugins almost. I'm going to run my RD8 808 clone drum machine, which is analog output of the box into the MPA-R onto the Dante network. And then I'm going to route that using the RedNet control software back to all the effects in real time. I won't even monitor through my DAW. I'll track into Ableton probably, and then go through all the effects and see what they do and see how the software helps me create fun results quicker. Mental, love it. 5 is the Warm Audio 1176. 9 and 10 here is the PA80. Saturated, a bit of spring on there, which is lovely. 1 and 2 is the Pioneer. Kind of a bit noisy, but I love the colour of it. It's real moody. Suits me. 3 and 6, Dante 3, and then analog 6. I've got the echo pet going into a preamp input because of the output gain's quite low on that. I need a bit more control. I have the space echo right and the echo pet left. My 2 favourite devices in the studio I use all the time. And I use it a lot like this as a stereo thing with slightly different delays on both sides. For like guitars or for synths, for sometimes it's just something on like a delicate ride pattern on the overhead mics is kind of cool. It's just hours of fun pretty much. What's not to like about that? And I can do all that via my Dante system. That is, I mean, I can be playing drums at the same time using all 16 mic pre's and accessing these guys at the same time. And for me, in my little setup right now, that is just total magic. It works for me. Best of both worlds, analog and digital, right?